And there we go. We're recording. What's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Kerr. I'm here on another episode of Between the Notes, and today I have the lead singer and rhythm guitarist, Bruce from Losing September. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good. How are you doing, Gavin?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for being here. I gotta admit, I was a bit under the weather these past couple of days, but I've been just doing some self care, and I'm happy that I didn't have to reschedule or anything. So I've been really excited to actually talk to you and listen to you guys' music a lot. And I gotta say, I really dig what you got going on.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. I'm sorry to hear that you've been under the weather. I'm glad that you're feeling better. You look good. So,
Thanks,
uh,
I appreciate it. So do you, man. So one of the things that I gotta ask, one of the first things that stuck out to me about the band is the label of modern day pirates. What is that all about?
well, the brand Pirate kind of started as my ancestral heritage on my grandmother's side is Portuguese Barbary pirate. So they originated kind of like from the Bahamas, or at least ancestry.com, informs us. And, they go back to originally Portugal and from the Barbary Coast of Portugal, as my grandmother would, state. So that's kind of how it started going about. And then just like the anthem of freedom that the pirates always declared, pretty much not wanting to be governed by any form of government, um, and kind of just having a will to do whatever they kind of pleased, So, and rock and roll goes kind of hand in hand with that. We felt, and
Absolutely.
yeah, so we felt like road pirates when hit the road. We toured for 7 years solid, and we drank enough to feel like we were pirates. That's for sure. I made a lot
What's
of
your
bad
poison?
mistakes. Yeah, made as many mistakes as most pirates would too. So there was always an adventure, and that was one thing that was great about and fun about being on the road. Pirates of the road. We've kind of
I
got
love
like
that, man. I'm sure you got plenty of booty along the way too.
well, pirates life, as they say.
Absolutely, absolutely. You said 7 years. Was that consistent now? Just nonstop, 7 years on the road?
Well, we would go out for 3 months. We'd come back for a couple weeks. We'd go out for 4 months. We'd come back. We'd go out a couple weeks, come back for 2 months to work. Then we'd go back out for 6 months. One tour we were out for a couple years, just nonstop. So yeah, just continuously booking. We'd come home and work our odd jobs to, you know, try to save up money just to hit the road again. And
Yeah.
that was just constant religiously touring. We dedicated 7 years to that, and
That's amazing. Now, are you paying rent this time? Like this during this whole time, or are you like staying with friends and family to keep all your monthly bills as low as possible?
well, it was a combination of that for some band members. I myself owned a bar, so my business partner, he was in a country band that toured, the Mike Martin band. Give him a shout out.
Yeah.
But so we would be on different time schedules when he would be touring and when I would be touring, and then we would have a manager that would manage the place when both of us would be gone. So that also helped subsidize some of our income to keep us on the road too, as well as have a venue for us to perform at locally, as well as all the other bands. So at the time, we were helping develop a music scene in East Central Indiana at the time, around the Ball State University area, Muncie, Indiana, where our lead guitarist still resides. Uh, Ball State was always good to us. Doc's Music Hall, that it kept us afloat for many years. So we're grateful for those great times.
That's amazing. It sounds like you guys are very, very true to what you sing about then, and that's being like full blood-hearted Americans, entrepreneur type deal. Like you had what you wanted, you saw this dream, and you did whatever you could to make it a reality. And now that's, I'm assuming this is what you're doing full time. You're doing the band.
Well, I mean, COVID right now has put a halt to
Yeah.
everybody in the music industry. So it's been hard. There was, we were flowing pretty steady. We were about to release a new album. We had a lot of things in the works. A new music video was coming out, and then COVID came around, and we were just premiering our first single off our new album, and it just so happened to be called "Contagious," which I wrote a long time ago, like back in 2003, like when the band was first formulating uh, and forming, and it just turned into this crazy, like we worked with a new producer and we wanted to bring back that old or original sound, so we brought this song back, and then COVID hit, and we just happened to travel to Asia right before and come back, and then COVID shut off all the borders everywhere. So we were lucky to get to Asia at the time, and
I was gonna say, were you guys freaking out when you came back that this pandemic started out over in Asia and you were just over there?
we were pretty freaked out when we were in Asia at the time, because we had landed, we went through and flew to Japan, and we were in Japan for a couple days. Then we were in Thailand for 4 days. Then we were in Myanmar, which now Myanmar is under military coup and no one can go in or out of the country. So
Oh my
um,
God.
we were lucky to have made it there, and at the time that we did. And then COVID shut everything down. Then before they could open up Myanmar, now they're under a military coup. So they were a democracy for 10 years, but for since 2013, uh, but since before that, they were under a military dictatorship for since like the 50s. So they had only had democracy for 10 years. They had grown and developed it well before. And then just of February 1st, the military dictatorship took it back over maliciously and had
Wow.
seized the government, took the president, the ambassadors, everyone captive.
Do you
And
think the people are going to be able to fight back and get it back to democracy?
well, they don't have any weapons, so they're
No.
defending themselves with slingshots and fireworks against semi-automatic
Yeah.
weapons and tanks. They're even sending in air attacks on villages and stuff. They're killing children in the streets,
Jesus
and
Christ.
it really is crimes against humanity. But the UN right now is not doing anything. So um, these people are defenseless, and it's insane. It's
Yeah.
awful.
And that's a big thing that the band seems to advocate for is freedom. A lot of your lyrics I've noticed are very politically based and grounded. One of the songs I do want to talk about is American Hero, where it starts off with you guys saying, I'm not sorry. Tell me a little bit about that and the word choice and the title and everything.
American Hero is really a dedication to all our vets. It being Patriots Day, just the other day. Um, to our vets that they go there. My uncle is one that he went to Vietnam, and he went through those struggles, and then coming back from it, and then having the way that society treated the vets, the Vietnam vets, and
Yeah,
it's different from each war to war, how politically and everything is socially put together. Sometimes they're considered the hero, sometimes they're considered the villain, depends on the war.
absolutely.
Um, so it was a tribute to all the vets, the American vets over the time, over the ages, that once you go there, you have to then you come back to society, and you have to learn to forget, and that's hard to do, and it's hard for us to ask them, an American citizen and civilian, to then have to change his way of thinking, become a military soldier, and then come back and become a citizen and a civilian, or you're always considered a citizen, but a civilian at that point.
Yeah.
Um, it's a lot, and so we have to respect and appreciate our vets for that. Uh, we're actually playing a festival coming up. Um, June 26th, Warrior Fest. That's actually a tribute to the homeless veterans, and it gives aid to homeless vets. So
That's
we're
amazing. That really is. I feel like people don't realize enough the actual struggles that the day-to-day veteran goes through. And then I think that they also categorize them, they put them all in the same group, as in they think that they make the decisions on what happens in war, when in reality, they're just people. They're people like you and me who are just trying to protect the ones that they love and the things that they believe in. And then they end up having to go and to other countries, or sometimes on the home field, depending on what country that they are fighting for, and they're putting their lives on the line every single day. It gets to the point where it's normalized to them. That's
Mhm.
where the PTSD comes in. That's what I feel like most civilians don't understand. Because I did not serve or anything like that, but I have a lot of friends who served, and I've worked with a lot of people who are veterans. And one of the things that I notice in them is that PTSD of if an alarm goes off, they stay at attention, like they just naturally they kind of straighten their posture and everything, or they look around, or the way that like they look around the room, they're always watching exits, they're always watching where people can get in and out, because they have that sort of that sense of always being alert. And that's such a stressful thing to constantly have, maybe not adrenaline pumping all the time, but at least always being at least 50% there of what's going on around you. Am I possibly going to be attacked or have to be in a life or death situation?
Right. Yeah, that
Yeah.
that sense of alertness, obviously it will always be there with them,
Yeah.
And
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the other songs that I wanted to talk to a little bit about was "Idiot."
good times.
Yeah, so you guys talk about, so you do have like these political and these songs for the troops and stuff like that, but then you also have some very self-aware songs. I want to tell me a little bit about "Idiot" and the lyrics and what they mean to you.
Idiot's actually it's a funny one. It was originally written as it was a campfire country song that just sitting around the campfire drinking, getting drunk. Um, Keith Whitley, if you're familiar with him, he's and Jesse, his son, are my distant cousins. Like down the line, and we share a grandfather down the line. So it's it, alcohol runs in family, and so it kind of is a tribute uh, to him, as well as the mistakes that I've made in my life
Yeah,
over time. So it was pretty much me stating that I've got a problem, and that I'm sorry for it, and I'm sorry for all the people that have had to deal with uh, the consequences of that. And I wrote it in a funny, humorous way, and I tried to, and it was just supposed to be funny at the camp, you know, campfire, just singing along. And when we were actually recording our last album, Rise of the Loser, our producer Tim Kennan, give him a shout out. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, he happened to he heard us playing it, and we were all sitting around the campfire, and he's like, "You're recording that? So what day are we recording that?" And I said, "Oh, we're not recording that song. That's just a fun joke." He's like, "No,
yeah.
we're recording that song." I'm like, "No." And then sure enough, it made it to the album. So it was good times. But
That's badass. I
ironically,
love that you took a sort of like a negative part of your life and you laughed at it. That's a big thing that a lot of comedians. That's what most comedians do, is they laugh at a lot of their pain, and that seems to be like a natural response. Like when we're uncomfortable with something, we laugh at it, we joke about it, just sort of like kind of, I guess, not normalize it, but to figure out how to cope with these things that's going on. So, do you mind me asking, were you an alcoholic then at one point?
yes, recovering still. We all have our once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. But
Gotcha.
you, you know, we all have our struggles. Relapse is something that everyone has to struggle with commonly.
Yeah,
Rock and roll is a hard industry to avoid it. And
absolutely.
separate yourself from it. I'm lucky that alcohol is what put its hooks into me instead of heroin or other rougher drugs. Because
Most definitely, yeah.
some of those you can't are almost impossible to get away from the physical addiction. Which alcohol has its own
Yeah.
physical addictions too.
Do you find it difficult when you're on the road then to stay away from it, or do your bandmates also kind of like support you and help keep you out of situations where you could relapse?
I think it's a it's a mixed bag of tricks there. You never know. Yeah, I mean, I can't ask people to change the way in the past when I've tried quitting. It was I couldn't be around it at all. I'd go and I'd stay on the RV, come out, play the show, stand at the merch booth, go back, get in the RV, stay away from it, at all costs. But then that's not fair to my fans to be able to not be able to see me or socialize with me after or before the show. So I've just learned that I've just got to learn to tell people that no, thank you when they offer me a drink, and I'd rather have you buy some merch, or if you
Yeah.
want to spend your money on something, buy some merch, buy a CD, something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I dig that a lot.
One thing,
Absolutely.
sorry, one thing that has
No,
helped
you're good.
what's helped me get through things a little bit has been um, raise energy drinks when I have that craving. I'm in the process of becoming an ambassador soon, which I originally found out from Steve Hill from My Side Promotions. Want to give him a shout out. He's the one that introduced me to the product, and it's really helped me through a lot of these transitions and cravings. And it also has got a lot of good stuff for like workout. It's not just an energy product. It's also the the main corporation or main company is Rep Sports that owns it, and they have all kinds of like different workout and from protein shakes and stuff like that. So
All
it's
right,
not
we're
just
gonna do a little bit of a shameless advertisement here. We're not sponsored by them, but I am curious because I'm pretty against energy drinks. I used to
yeah
drink
they
them when I
are
was like a little kid, and I after a while I just hated the way they made me feel. There's like one energy drink. I can't remember what it's called. It's in like this really slim black bottle. But I enjoyed that because it was all natural and I didn't crash really bad after. But even
right.
that I kind of stayed away from. So tell me a little bit about this Ray energy drink. What's this all about?
Oh, it's Raze, Raze. Uh,
Gotcha.
so it's made with it's got zero sugar, which to me sometimes throws up like uh-oh, this isn't good, scary
Yeah.
alarm. If it's not sugar, then what is it? It's not natural, but it's got a combination of BC double A aminos in it, and all the uh, so it does have like a weird interesting flavor that seems like sugar with the different vitamin nutrients that they've got in there. So I wouldn't say that it's the energy drink itself is the most healthy thing, but they've got other products like uh, that are more nutritional
Yeah.
that you can purchase and go through. I like the powders, the workout drinks the pre-workout drinks are what I prefer to drink before I work out every morning. So I like those. They also have like a sleep aid drink if you can't sleep if you've drank too much Rays, obviously. They've got this sleep aid drink that
They
tastes
got
like
uppers and downers for you. That's
yeah,
great. Yeah.
yeah, but it's made with natural ingredients and it's loaded with vitamins and stuff. So that's kind of their selling point on it. So, but just having to replace that natural craving for alcohol with something else. Kombucha is another thing that I've used to help.
All right.
Which
What is kombucha? Because I've heard of this a handful of times, and I've heard like not great things about it in all honesty.
well, they taste weird. I mean, from years of I've had IBS, for the last several years, most of my life, really since I was in high school. But um, I I've always had intestinal problems and stuff. So like it's got like the probiotics in it that like the net and good bacterias. There's good bacterias out there if you can believe it. I didn't believe it at first when my mom was telling me about this stuff, but it's like got all kinds of probiotics and good bacterias that fight the bad bacterias in your gut, and it's kind of like a hot tub creating the chemical balance between the acid
Okay.
and the base in your stomach and your digestive tract. It's weird when you
Yeah.
first drink it, it like fizzes all in your mouth like hydrogen peroxide or something like that. You're like, what is this stuff? So but
Yeah, you got like a chemical reaction. All
right,
right.
yeah. But once you get used to it, your body uh, enjoys it pretty good actually. Here's some of it.
All right, I got to look on my laptop here so I can see it. All right. Maybe I'll look into it. 'Cause I'm really big on trying new things, and I'm big on trying weird things too. I like to eat weird stuff. Like when I was little, I was born in Tucson, Arizona, and I used to go visit my birth father out there when I was younger. And at the airport, they always had these suckers with scorpions in them, and I always thought that was the coolest thing ever. It
Oh
was
yeah.
especially because I take them to school in like the second grade, and all the kids would look at me like I was crazy, and we're like, "Yeah, I am. I eat scorpion," like just weird shit like that. And I think probably one of the coolest things that I ever tried eating that I actually really enjoyed and never thought that I would was I took a trip to Belize a few years ago, and they have termite mounds everywhere.
Oh my.
And so they're edible, they're the highest source of protein in the world. And so I
Really?
would just put my finger on these mounds and they crawl all up on it. I just lick them right off my finger. They taste like carrots.
Huh.
They
Wow.
taste exactly like carrots. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever eaten in my
And they
life.
were alive. They were living.
Yeah. Yeah, they were alive. Yeah. Have you
It's
ever had
a
you ever had caviar?
yes, I have had caviar at fish eggs.
Yeah, you know how like they pop in your mouth?
Yeah.
It was
They
kind of
pop
like
like
that,
that.
except yep, they were kind of like that, except instead of like a little slimy and a pop, it was like a little like crunchy. It's the
The
best way to
exo
describe it.
the exoskeleton. I've had fried crickets. When we went to Myanmar, that was one of the delicacies that we had, and that was pretty good. The fried crickets. Once you got over the legs, that was the
Yeah.
hardest part. You're eating it, the legs still sticking out of your mouth while you're eating it. And you're like,
Well,
you know,
wait, how big are these crickets?
I mean, they're good size. About
Okay,
an
so
inch, probably about an inch. You know.
oh wow, that's a full-on grasshopper. That's damn near a
Yeah, I mean
locust.
they're big crickets. Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of big crazy critters over there on the eastern side of the world that we've never seen before. So
I know. Every time that somebody tells me that they've gone to other countries and stuff like that, I just remember all the weird foods that I ate, and then I can't imagine some of the stuff that you've gotten to experience over there. Like, what was it like being in these other countries over there? What was like your favorite country you went to?
well, I genuinely loved Myanmar. It was great, but I had seen it at the climax of its economic growth. They had been developing a democratic country for uh, the last decade, so I got to see that and the very end of it, and now it's all gone to militarized. It's a war zone out there. It's approaching like Syria like conditions.
Yeah.
So it's terrifying. It's awful. Our friends are fighting for their lives every day. Some of them are detained. Uh, so it's just scary stuff. And
No, it really is, and I'm glad that you're telling me this, honestly, because I had no idea whatsoever about any of this stuff going on.
yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm not
not
sure if
been.
that's just my ignorance or if it's the media over here not really bringing this up to anybody.
Well, they haven't really addressed it much. They've CNN does have one broadcaster in there. Thinking, Chris, I'm trying. Teresa Clarissa Ward. Clarissa Ward. She's over there. The military has allowed her to actually come in and interview selected individuals that they have approved of. So
Gotcha.
they won't even let her enter the streets with the people and interview the people unless they have like a military soldiers surrounding her. So the people aren't going to talk freely to the to them, But behind when they're away, they'll sneak and say things to her, and she'll report on that, and then the people will get arrested by the government and detained. So uh,
Jesus Christ. It's like in the movie The Interview, they got the fake little fat kid standing outside like, "Oh, everything's okay here. Our people are well fed, everybody's happy," but in the reality, they're starving. Yeah, they're dying.
yeah, it's unfortunately very similar to that, and so raising awareness is all we can do. With the
Absolutely. Do you think that that if not the US military, but anybody in the UN will end up getting involved in this, or have they already?
I mean, they've been sanctioning the military ever since it's occurred since February 1st, I know President Biden, made an announcement sanctioning the general at that time, or at the time, as well as many other of the leaders have now. The sanctions have just gotten more and more, and it's progressed. Uh, so, and they don't seem phased by it.
Yeah,
So, all we are is doing is cutting off their funding. So when they became a democracy, we funded it heavily during the Obama administration. He even came over there, was the first American president to ever visit Myanmar. Um, so um, by him setting up, he helped Miss Aung San Suu Kyi set up the constitution, and you know tried to develop a democracy, even though they have it set up differently. Our line of you know Congress, it goes down from president, vice president. Theirs, they have the general or military is the highest ranking general. Then it goes down to their ambassador. Then goes to president. Vice president down. So the military is the highest ranking. They outrank their leaders. So that in itself, it was designed to fail.
yeah,
And so,
yeah.
so
They basically set it up so that way they could have a coup whenever they wanted to. Then,
yeah, the
like
military
it
said
was
that.
more like the president was a sort of like a face or like a puppet in a sense. Didn't
Right,
really have any actual power.
right, yeah, pretty
Wow,
unfortunately. So,
wow.
and there are people, they don't have a way to defend themselves. So another reason why, to see, like, if they were to take our Second Amendment away, these people are disarmed, and there's no way of fighting back really against their military. They do have numbers, and they are
Yeah,
fine. So they have the civil disobedience movement that was originally created by Gandhi, and it's gone on through years of dictatorships, and all over the world, not just in in Southeastern Asia or Asia specifically, but all over. So
are
it's
they doing any sort of peaceful protesting, or are they kind of just in a panic now, where
well,
they're
it's
just being
still
strategic and doing like more like a guerrilla warfare type of thing with fireworks and whatnot?
Well, it's come to that in certain areas. The peaceful protests have stopped because the killing is increased. It started with peaceful protests. They would stop their cars in the streets so that the military tanks couldn't get through. They'd say their car ran out of gas. And they
Yeah,
did several different peaceful protests. Their insignia is the three-fingered Hunger Games salute. Um,
that's
and
pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
which originally Thailand a few years back had been using it, as well as multiple countries that have been in Syria. They've been having to deal with uh, similar conditions. So um, just crimes against humanity, uh, as of late, all over the world, have just been kind of crazy to think about. Um, you kind of wonder if, like, COVID, keeping everybody locked up, just started making people's brains think too much or just not think enough. I don't know.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think it's taken people to two different extremes. Um, and then there's like the middle. So in the middle, in my mind, you have people who just kind of sat around and did nothing and just like withered away for the most part. But then over here, you have people who took the extreme to be extremely productive for a good cause and what they believe would help the general public. And then over here, you have another extreme of people who became extremely productive, but for selfish reasons. That's what I feel like it is. So you have people that just kind of like just shut down and did nothing until things went back to somewhat normal. But then other people, they just sat there and started thinking like, what can I do to change my life, or what can I do to change everybody's lives?
Yeah, I think you're right. A lot of people have used this time for self meditation, and just like having that fear in the back of your mind that that there is uh, this virus, that that's a whole nother debate that I don't even like to get into. you
Yeah,
know,
no, it's a controversial one to say the least.
yeah. Yeah, it's just so it's the strangest life I've ever known, as Jim Morrison would say.
Do you ever like have a self-realization moment, like you're walking down the street or like you're driving your car and you think, "Holy shit, I'm in a Black Mirror episode right now."
Oh, all the time. I mean, I just think of like 2019, like getting prepped and ready for 2020, and then just boom, this has just been crazy. It doesn't make any sense. The world's upside down, so
Yeah. Yeah,
trying to figure it
absolutely. Like
out.
I know for me, New Year's Eve, I was DJing. I was hosting a big New Year's Eve party at one of the local bars. And I just remember like I had an awesome night. I had a really awesome date that night. And so she was there with me. We were tearing up on the dance floor and I'm DJing. I get done and I go hang out with family afterward. My family had a big dinner, so I went and saw them afterward. They were still awake, just hanging out. And then like one day at a time, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I remember standing in work, watching the TVs in the bars and just saying, oh, it's all like the virus is in this country. I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. Hopefully they figure it out. And then it's like, oh, now it's spread to this continent. I'm like, huh, well, good thing I'm on this side of the ocean. And I'm like, now it's in your town.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. And then I actually got it. I had the coronavirus, which was irritating for me in a sense that, and I'm grateful that that I was affected the way that I was, but I was also irritated in a sense because it made me wonder about how serious it really is. Because I think I was like, had like a dizzy, I was kind of dizzy, and then I wasn't nauseous, but I had a fever for one night and I was dizzy for a couple days. And then for the next 2 weeks, I was doing home workouts. I was doing a pull-up bar and going for like jogs around the neighborhood and stuff like that. I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah,
uh,
it affects it seemed to affect everybody a little bit differently in different
yeah.
ways. When we traveled over there, like I saw it popping up in China. It just started spreading because we were there in November before, so November of 2019, and it had just started spreading in China. We flew into Japan, down into Thailand, and then into Myanmar, and uh, then once we got back, we were there for about a couple weeks before they said that it spread out of China. It started. You know, Actually, Myanmar was one of the last countries to get it, but Japan, I know they got hit pretty quickly, and all the connecting. A lot of those Asian countries, Thailand, I know, got shut down very quickly
Yeah.
because our manager over there, and he's still in Thailand. He hasn't been able to leave Thailand since COVID. He's been stuck
Oh
there.
my God.
So, yeah, so like because they go high alert, then they go. He's like on an island out in Thailand, so he's kind of safe. Or at least like there's not a lot of numbers of people, as
I mean,
opposed to
does he want to come back though? Because like he's
he
been there
doesn't seem
for a
like
year
it.
now. He's like established at this point. Like I wouldn't
They
be
had been
surprised if he found himself like a little wife or a husband or whatever. And, like he's got his own like business going on there and his family and everything. He's got a dog. Like I can't come back. I got a dog here in Thailand.
Yeah, you've got a good possibility of that. I know he lives from hotel to hotel, so I don't know if he's got a permanent residence, but the hotel probably thinks that he's like a permanent tenant there. At least, he's probably on
Yeah.
renter's weekly weekly pay for the
Talks to the
room.
bellhop every morning. Like they just
Oh
chit
yeah,
chat now. He's his best friend, you know?
right. When we went to Thailand as well as to Myanmar, and he accommodated us when he was with us, he like knew everybody. He was our travel guide and stuff. So he's been living out there. He would only come back before COVID, a few months to renew his visa, and then he'd be back out. So he stays active out there. He does Rock Rage Radio Asia out there. So a lot of all the bands that he works with are all established out in Asia. So that's kind of where he wants to be. So he likes it. And I guess because of COVID, they're just like, oh, you don't have to renew your visa, I guess. Or maybe he's just trapped out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I
he's
know a lot of legal paperwork has been either postponed or completely just avoided because of COVID. Like I went to, I turned 21 in January, and it completely slipped my mind that I need to renew my license just because I was all like, it is what it is. But so I turned 21 and had to get it renewed, and I checked in my wallet probably a week or so ago and saw that. I was like, oh shit, I've been driving around this whole time. And I go there, and there's a poster in the BMV saying that I don't need to renew my license till like June something. I got it done anyway because I was there, but that was
Right.
just
Yeah.
crazy to think that like I could go basically half a year with this completely expired license and be totally fine.
Well, it is crazy to see, there's so many things that people are allowed to get away. Some renters don't have to pay their rent and stuff like that, which is crazy. Like I can't. It's so hard on those landlords. If you
Yeah.
you always and like you can't, and the landlords aren't allowed to evict anybody. So certain cases, I definitely see that as an understanding. But then I would think the government would give some aid to these landlords, on some of their. So it is. It's interesting. It's been a crazy year, and now it's even getting weirder. It seems like it's some things are getting normal, and some things are getting more out of control. So I don't
Well,
even know.
that was one thing. A couple weeks ago, I was talking to coworkers, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, you know what? When Trump was running for office, for his first term, and from the moment that he was started running to several weeks after this last election, we watched him like a hawk. We watched every single move that he ever did, every little tweet, like everything. And then I was thinking about a couple weeks ago, I'm all like, what the hell has Biden been up to? I haven't heard a damn thing about him. Like he had a meeting and that was about it.
That's it is interesting. It is interesting.
Yeah. It
But
got
hopefully,
really quiet all of a sudden on social media. We got like a couple memes and that's about it.
well, I saw something about him wearing his mask, and he's like standing by himself, and then he took it off, and he said, "Now every American can be vaccinated, has the right to be vaccinated," or something like that. So I think everybody can take. That insinuates that we can take our masks off or something. I don't know what that means, but
Yeah. Maybe when like you're vaccinated, you can have your mask off. Or
right.
they give you like a little card. Like
They
this
give
is
you
your
a
no
card.
mask card. Yep, I've been vaccinated. Like here's my card, officer. I'm good to go. I get to breathe fresh air once again.
Have you ever seen Wayne's World?
Oh yeah.
Of course. I saw a meme the other day that was so perfect. It was talking about the vaccination cards, and it was like the vaccine people that have been vaccinated be like, and it's like Wayne and Garth going backstage. They've got their backstage passes. They're putting it in everybody's face.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's awesome, man. It's amazing how heavily meme culture influences our real day-to-day lives. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what Dogecoin is?
I've heard the name. I'm trying to put it. I don't know of what.
So it's a form of cryptocurrency that I have invested in. I did not invest
Oh, nice.
nearly enough in it, but I did invest in it. It's like Bitcoin. And
Okay.
Elon Musk is really big into it, and he's been
Oh
talking
yeah.
about it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
tweeting
Okay.
about it and everything. Well, like a month ago, not even like a few weeks ago, it was worth like 0.0 or 0.006 of a penny was each one. And then because of memes, everybody just like it started trending in meme culture. And it's been a meme for a while, but it like really blew up all of a sudden. And now it's worth like 6 or 7 cents of share.
Wow.
It went up like, yeah, it went up like 500%. And
Yeah.
so, because I only had, and I'm pissed about it too, but at the same time, it's like, who could see this coming? It's crazy because I want to say I had like $50 worth or something like that of this share. And then it shot it up, and it's like, oh yeah, you have like $900 now. And it was my mind was blown. And somebody did the math for it. If you took one of the stimulus, if you took the first stimulus check that we got, that $12,000
Yeah.
or that $1,200, and you put that all into Dogecoin before it blew up from that 0.006 to what it is now, you'd have like I think it was like $195,000 or something stupid like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's just and the same thing happened with GameStop too, where the shares were worth damn near nothing. And some people on Reddit found out that some stockbrokers were going to put a whole bunch of money into it, so they'd shoot it up and then just dump it all. So they did the same thing, and that's what that whole GameStop like scandal, quote unquote scandal, was about. So a bunch of people on the internet got savvy to it and were like, "Oh, okay, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to make all this money."
Wow. Are they have they
Yeah.
dumped it already?
Yeah. It's worthless now. GameStop, like
Wow.
it's got some hold to it because some people are holding on to it, waiting for it. Like they're thinking it's gonna bounce back up, but that's pretty much gone. The Dogecoin is predicted to reach $1 some point in 2021.
Well,
So that's what
that'd
I'm
be
waiting for. I just keep
yeah.
putting money into it. I'm like, all right, it's gonna either blow up because that's what happened with Bitcoin. Nobody really knew about it. Nobody wanted it, and now they're worth like $55,000 a piece. And you have people who own hundreds of these things.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that's obscene. There was one guy on YouTube. He doesn't have a YouTube channel anymore. He deleted it because of this. When Bitcoin first started out, he bought like 1 billion of them because they were worth literally nothing.
Right.
And he used them to buy 2 large pizzas just to prove that you could buy something with Bitcoin. So he had like 1 billion of these things that were worth nothing, bought 2 large pizzas, and then like a year later, they were worth like $17,000 a piece.
That's wild.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Back to topic about you and the band. I love it though. I like the conversation flowing. Tell me about what is Project Mayhem.
Project Mayhem is actually it's a concept album about uh, pretty much Fight Club, you know, and pretty much it was inspired by. I mean, I was originally a political science major at Purdue before transferring to Ball State and studying music because I just couldn't take finding out how real the world was and how really
Yeah,
shitty it really is. So like and so a lot like our first album There Will Be Casualties was a lot about coming to terms with becoming an adult as well as dark suicidal tendencies and just some political getting into some political stuff, but not too much. Project Mayhem was I took the political side to another extreme and focused on that. That was like I was in a hardcore, uh, you know, alcoholic state of mind at that time. I was living in the upstairs of the bar. We hadn't been we had to take some time off just so that I could write this album. So I was just upstairs writing, and constantly like I would fall asleep to Fight Club every night. So subconsciously, the movie was just and from vodka and Red Bulls and the whiskey and cokes, just adding up.
yeah,
Eventually, I myself thought I was Tyler Durden. That schizophrenic moment. My stage antics changed at that time too. I started to come out of my shell. Um, so in some lights, alcohol does open up your brain in a way. Kind of like LSD or different hallucinogenic drugs can enlighten you, but it doesn't mean that you got to do it every day, continuously, repeatedly. It'll anything that you overconsumption of anything could kill you. Uh,
absolutely.
so
I love that, man. Is this I'm assuming that this song in particular is related to this whole thing, especially I believe the music video Betrayed is where you have like that fight club kind of scene going on.
yeah, that was that betrayed song. That was definitely that video we filmed outside in the parking lot outside the bar, and we actually hired a fight choreographer to come in and teach us how to do fake. He did it for movies and stuff, as well as he was a
That was
teacher.
going to be my next question. If you were like, all right, we got to make this authentic, and you're just laying into each other, or if you were pulling punches and doing fakes and whatnot, because they
Well,
looked really good.
well, the day started off with us and working with this fight coordinator, the whole thing. And we spent hours doing it. And then we filmed it and we looked at the footage. And I told the director, I was like, this looks like shit, man. This looks so terrible. I just grabbed a bottle of Jameson and I passed it around the whole group. We just drank it all down. And then I was like, all right, we're going to have to really do this. So we just started going at it. I was like, all right, who wants to fight who? And then we literally just started going at it. Those that disliked each other the most started throwing punches at each other.
I love that. Did that? I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but did that sort of ease tensions with some of the people in the group?
I think at the time it did. We had just gotten off tour and we
Yeah,
came back. We had been on tour for several months and we had a lot of our roadies were in the video shoot with us too. So there was just all, and we were all crammed into a van. So there's like at least 10 of us all in like an 8-passenger van. That's tight corridors for
yeah.
for fire
No,
and stuff.
that's a lot of smelly dudes all by each other
Yeah,
for a long
it is.
time.
Yeah. So it was. That's why hotel rooms are so imperative, and beaches. You go to the beach and you just set up, But
No, definitely. I know. Well, when I was in high school, we used to do my brother Logan and I. We'd invite like football players, wrestlers, and other angsty teenagers in the high school, and we do fight nights every other weekend where we have boxing gloves, and we made mouth guards mandatory after this one kid got his tooth chipped.
uh,
But we just did fight nights. We got a bunch of soda pop and pizza, and we blast music in the garage. We just beat the hell out of each other for like
right,
hours. That's what we did. We did 2 to 5 minute rounds and we just went at it. And I got to tell you, man, it made me so close to definitely my brother Logan. Some of the other kids, it made me like understand them a lot more. But the amount of like mutual respect that fighting caused for one another was just unbelievable.
right. Yeah, it does. When fighting is in like a proper manner, it does give you that. Especially, I think that's why the art of so much mixed martial arts and stuff like that is you really have to. It's not a barbaric beatdown or something. It's trained. It's like it's an art form. It's not just to instill pain upon your opponent. It's
Absolutely. It's called, we were talking about this earlier on, I do another show called the Java Delight. So I do, it's a morning show. We were talking about how it's called it's defensive fighting, it's self-defense. It's not, you're not trying to be aggressive, you're not trying to hurt other people.
right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I always loved about ninjutsu is it's all defense mechanism, training. Most of it, especially beginnings, is just all throws, so encounters. So that's one of my favorites about ninjutsu is it's teaching you how to defend, but also some of those defense counters are dangerous weapons at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Some of those holds that you do in any sort of martial art can easily lead into an elbow being thrown to the face or a
Right.
knee to the stomach. And like they're dangerous weapons. I mean, overall, humans aren't like that deadly. We're for the most part just pretty mouthy. But if you know what you're doing, yeah, like if you know
Yeah.
what you're doing, you can definitely mess somebody up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's why they're
When it comes to
trained.
like other animals, we're kind of useless. But when it comes to like person on person, we've gotten pretty good at fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What there are those people that my high school wrestling coach and football coach. I know he fought wrestled a half sedated bear and won. He would show us all videos of it, and it was just funny, giving him a hard time about it. I was like, that bear seems half sedated, like that's the only way.
Yeah. He's fighting some messed up little black bear, something like that, 200 pounds or whatever.
Yeah, it was a good sized bear, but it was just
Yeah.
funny. He's definitely sedated a little bit.
That's funny. I always loved seeing people who try to overcome wild animals. Like
Right.
there's nothing that you can do. The only thing that you could do with a wild animal, and this is if you're extremely good, is build trust with it. That is the only thing that you were able to do. But there is no way in hell that you were going to be. This is like a game that we played in the kitchen when I was working at Olive Garden for a bit. Was we played this game where we ask each other animals that we think that we could beat up or not. And somebody said a kangaroo once. I was like,
Oh
dude,
my
a
god.
kangaroo would mess us up.
They do. That's what I've heard, especially like
Yeah.
American tourists. They go over to Australia. They try to play with these kangaroos and they get their asses beat. Like it's
Yeah. Well, not only do they got those legs that they'll just like straight up kick you with, like they'll
yeah,
mess you
they'll
up with
like
those,
knock
but then
you down.
their nails are really
Right.
long and sharp and they'll slice you up. And then another thing that I learned about them, and I didn't know this until I started to look into kangaroos and how terrifying they are, is they drown things.
Oh
They
wow,
because they
really?
stand up so tall, they'll like dingoes and stuff like that, and other predators or like dogs and stuff. They'll lure them into the water, into like big pools of water, and they'll stand on their hind legs, and then they'll jump on top of them and use their body weight and drown them.
It's brilliant, really, on their part.
Yeah, no, they're crazy smart, but they're just terrifying when you start to think about it. They look cute until you see
Right.
an 8 foot red kangaroo standing like, "What's up? I'm gonna
Yeah.
mess you up, and I'm gonna take your wife and your job."
You gotta love it. That's great.
uh, so going back to this song "Betrayed" really quick, I'm reading some of the lyrics here. Are they? You say things like they'll try to take your face and smash it into place. They're going to break your legs and make you have to beg. When you say they, is there a specific like group or person that you have in mind for this, or is this sort of like a vague for interpretation thing for like the listener to kind of put into place who they are?
I think all my lyrics are, I try to let it be the less listener's opinion. I don't,
Yeah,
to so that they can imagine whatever that's the truth is whatever is true to them. I've heard so many people tell me that their interpretation of the song is so much different than what I originally wrote it about, and I'm just like, well, that's what it's about. you know but but with when say they, it is vague. It's about that vague interpretation. When I was writing the song, the Occupy movement at the time was going on, as well as in Turkey. They're going through a takeover and civil war over there in Turkey at the time. And I was talking with one of the publicists of this magazine called The Rock Art, and he so like at the time they were oppressing the protesters. So it was about political protest. So and here it is unfortunate, and here we are back again where political protest is back in our music. Rise of the Loser, that album, I focused on trying to get not so political. Our record label even requested our album that we're working on now not to be so political.
yeah.
So it
Well, I
was
get
like,
it. They get scared because it's a controversial thing, and it'll work or it won't, and it all depends because they want to try to get the widest audience that they can.
right.
And what you're singing about is real and as awesome as it is, because I really do actually love what you're singing, what you're talking about. Like I do believe in this.
Thank you, brother.
But it's only going to resonate with so many people, and that's not their job. Their job is to put out music that as many people as possible are going to love.
Right. And that's what, honestly, what I wrote when I did Idiot. I was like, well, if we're going to do Idiot, let's make it a radio single, like let's make it as poppy as we can. Let's make it as short as we can, so that they, and what screwed us, was shit. The word shit. You
Oh,
can say so many other bad words, but shit is actually, for FM radio, it's unacceptable. Sirius radio is okay. So when,
they
you know,
can't blur it out.
well, we did have some tracks that blurred it out, but for FM radio, they just, it took away a lot of the hookiness, and so like when it, just the way it was, put together. We even had our producer go back and edit it. It never had the same full effect uh,
No, I get that.
as it did with the cuss word in there. Um,
Yeah.
so it was kind of a, a we tried. and failed, which it was that was, but that song we tried to be as poppy as I went all out on being poppy in that song. So it's a little bit ridiculous, but people seem to love it. It's fun to play on stage too. People even mosh to the song, which makes no sense to me, but you know, I'm
People
like,
will mosh to anything, man. If it's a song with a fast tempo, people will mosh to it.
yeah,
They'll
that's
figure it
what
out.
matters. The tempo is all. It's all about it. Hey, I'm pleased with it.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny because like we've played so many shows where like we're like I'm screaming like and we're playing like our heaviest song and then we're like all right we're gonna lighten things up a little bit with Idiot and then a freaking mosh pit breaks out. I've been
Yeah.
screaming my guts out for the last half hour and now you guys finally start a mosh pit.
Yeah, yeah. People go wild for the weirdest things, man. It might not be the heaviest song, but if it's a song that they love the most, they'll show you. Like
Right,
you'll
right.
know. I can't. There was in the band that I used to be in, there was a couple songs that we had where they started out like really slow, and then like they were more like a rock kind of song, so they pick up later in the song. And we never thought of them to be like a moshing kind of song. We thought, well, like people be like jumping around, like waving hands kind of deal. And no, we had guys like throwing each other during the end of
Right.
some of these lighter songs.
That's awesome. Well, they know if they know the melody, they know the lyrics, they're all in at that point. You got them hooked in a way, you know.
Absolutely. Have you had the Freddie Mercury moment from when he's in the movie Bohemian Rhapsody and he goes to sing and everyone else just sings for him. Have you had that moment yet where like the crowd is singing all the lyrics to you?
Those moments are the great. It's what we do this for, you know. Those
Absolutely.
are the greatest moments of our lives, you know, as well as like the first time you hear radio, or the first time you play a live show, or the first time you play a sold out show. Going to Asia was one of our things that bucket list things that we wanted to do. Took us 5 years to do it, and then we did it just in enough time. So building those steps little by little, uh, even it's it's always been a struggle. That's one thing that me and my lead guitarist we've been doing it for over a decade now, and
Yeah,
we started it in 2003 after shortly after 9/11. That's what Losing September is a tribute to those that were fallen and those that's lives were affected and changed completely by 9/11.
that's
But
beautiful, man.
thank you, brother. So, and before before 9/11, I was writing music that wasn't it was pop like that. It didn't really have a message. It was nonsense. It was more comedy,
Yeah,
pop punk nonsense. You know, and that changed me as well as it changed a lot of people. A lot of people had to deal with consequences of that. Several of my friends enlisting and just the way the world changed, the way that we treated people, the way that we were treated ourselves. So it changed us, and it made us have to think. It didn't strike. It made us fear. Americans in the 90s, it seemed like we could do anything. We were getting all kinds of fake loans that we couldn't have ever, like it was just crazy. Like our economy we were developing it to crash. So
yeah.
9/11 was the beginning of those wake up calls where it's like, whoa, it was like the David Goliath, like, we are vulnerable. Uh,
Yeah.
so pay attention, and who knows, being a possible conspiracy theorist or just maybe I see the dots and connecting them isn't that hard, but uh, some of the inner struggles that we had during the 9/11, there's too many uh, red flags that are up that are it's hard to believe some of the that a bunch of goat farmers are going to be able to outsmart the greatest military in the world. You know, uh, that was always laughable to me. But the tactics, it made us think differently. It changed everything for us.
No, it most definitely did. Even today, I know, I believe it just went into effect. Now you need a special license or a passport to be able to fly from state to state.
Whoa! Now they're tightening up that much quicker. I'm sure you have to have your vaccination too to do that, maybe, or is that not attached to it yet?
I think vaccination is just for other countries. I'm
Okay.
not positive on that. Um, and then because of COVID, I'm not sure if it's gone full into effect yet, but if it hasn't, it will be shortly. But yeah, because when I went to go get my license renewed at the BMV, they asked me if I wanted the new license for flying. And I said,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, sure." And they said, "Okay, cool. We need. Do you have your birth certificate with you?" And I was shocked. I was like, no, but I do have my social security card and my original ID." And they said, "That's not going to work. So you
Uh,
need like your birth certificate and something else. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, pretty soon, if not already, you'll need a special license to be able to fly from state to state. You can drive still, but to fly, you need a special license or a passport."
Luckily, I have my passport, but I knew that they were forcing that. They were like all the new license. When I got my license, they said the next time you get it, you're gonna have to get this new passport license or whatever. So we're not even gonna have that option here soon to get a normal license. I don't think. Uh,
Yeah, no, it's going to be all the new thing.
yeah.
I mean,
It is
it
what
is
it
what it
is.
is in a sense. It's like a security thing. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Safety. Yeah. And it's not like they're saying you can't go from state to state. You just can't fly, but you can still drive or Uber, walk, uh,
But I wonder
bicycle.
what the cause of the restrictions are. You know, it's not like terrorists. You know, we pretty much have stopped the terrorist flight issue things. You know, like now it's
Yeah,
just
that's what I was wondering when they first brought it up to me. I was curious. And I even asked the lady, I was like, "Oh, did something happen?" She goes, "No, it's just going to be the new regulation."
yeah. Like normally they scare us into taking away our rights. You know,
Right?
they normally
Well, I think after the whole COVID thing,
they're just like
after like
taking them
that
away.
happened, yeah, they're all like, "All right, you know what? We told them to wear a mask, and they did that immediately for the most part. So let's just see what else we can just start doing." Uh,
Yeah, let's see what they do. Only people with their right hand raised are allowed to. I don't know, just like
right?
Simon says, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Really quick, wrapping up here. I know you got some shows coming up. Metal in the Mountains and Summer. Let's see, was it Summer Blast in
Summer
Indiana?
Bash. Yeah, Summer Bash.
Bash. Yeah, tell me about those. Have you done either of them before? Or is this gonna be your first time doing these?
Metal in the Mountains we have done before. We've played it the last 3 times that they've held the event. Um, and it's always a blast. Great bands from national to regional. It's in West Virginia. It's at a beautiful resort that it's just out in the mountains. So you're kind of in the boondocks, but it's so beautiful. Um,
Yeah.
you're then you go into this metal mania where it's like you're the locals are not like they're like, oh, you're here for this metal fest. That they know it's coming, you know, and they're
Yeah.
some some of them are protesting, you know, they're like, you know, we're praying for you and stuff like that. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
because it's very religious, you know, area. You know, it's in the Bible Belt. So
Yeah.
when you're going through there, so like there, you'll in the past they've had some protesters outside the gates, but it only adds, you know, to the hype. You know,
Yeah, it adds
it's like
character. I feel like
people
that's how
want
you
to see
know when you've had a successful metal show, like a crazy awesome show, when you have people protesting it.
it. Yeah,
Like this is getting too awesome, you guys. You gotta shut it down.
down. Yeah, losing September on both sides of the protesting, and you never know.
Absolutely, man. That's badass.
But
That's
God
really
bless
sweet.
them. Everyone has the right to protest, you know, peacefully.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's definitely I believe that it's actually it's a good thing to exercise your right to protest. As long as you're not hurting other people or
Amen.
destroying shit. Like if you don't like something, speak your mind about it. You know?
Amen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to plug in here real quick?
Oh yeah, we got Metal in the Mountains in West Virginia, August 26th through the 29th. We've got Warriors Fest June 26th, Gigaroo July 9th, Summer Bash July 10th, Muncie at the Water Bowl. Uh, August 6th, we've got a show coming up. It has not been officially announced, but it's going to be in Ohio. So keep your eyes peeled. You can check out losingseptember.com. If you have any
Where in
questions,
Ohio?
I we're putting those details together. So
All
I
right, I'm gonna stay in touch with you, either directly or through Brian, because I'm in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, yeah, I
And
did see that. So that's perfect.
yes,
I think it's just a little bit west of there, but I'm not gonna say anything quite yet until that everything's confirmed. If that's
all
okay.
right. I would definitely love to come visit, come check you guys out
Oh,
live.
sure. That'd be great. We'd love to see it. Yeah, we can set up a interview. We'll get you backstage and stuff. So it'll be a good time. We'll get you a press pass.
Oh shit, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah.
What? No, I haven't gone to a concert well, since how long because of COVID and everything.
Right.
So,
Yeah. COVID's been.
whew,
Hell yeah, brother. It'd
yeah,
be good seeing you, Gavin.
that'd be badass. I got one final question for you, and then I'll let you go here.
Okay.
So, your band is going to be headlining you're going to be headlining a kick-ass show, all right? Where is that show going to be, and what two bands are you going to have supporting you? Any bands that you want in any location.
Oh my gosh, that's a rough. That's a tough one.
Take your time, man.
That's a tough one. Ah, that's a tough one. Well, Red Rock has always been one of my favorite locations. I've never personally performed there, but if you give me one option to have a place to play, amphitheater, Red Rock is one of those nostalgic ones that you know historically all the greats have played there. At Red Rock, going down that are all in the hall. They're all in the Hall of Fame. They're right in Cleveland, or right,
Yeah.
yeah, right there in Cleveland. So, um, which kudos for being the city to have the hall. Good, that is badass. Go
Thank
Cleveland.
you.
That is
Oh
awesome.
yeah, Cleveland rocks, brother.
Cleveland rocks for a reason, baby. Yeah,
Yes.
hell yeah.
All
And
right.
Gavin
So we
Kerr.
got your load.
Yep.
What was it?
And because of Gavin Kerr. And because of
Thank
you,
you.
brother.
Thank you. You rock too, man.
Yeah.
All right. So we got your location. You got two supporting bands. Who are they gonna be?
Two supporting bands. Well, right now I'd have to say Idiots Band from Myanmar just so that we can get them out of their country, but I don't know if it would even be possible with with them under a military coup. There would probably be no chance. But if it was a dream state and we could have
You
send in
yeah.
some
You have unlimited money, so we'll pay off the government there. We'll get them out of the coup.
yeah, unlimited money. There we go. We'd get Idiots Band. They were the band that brought us there, and then we performed with musicians like me and Foreman. We had a drummer, lead, a guitarist, and bassist that played with us and accompanied us while we played with Idiot and toured with them. So we'd love to have those guys because they're right now running for their lives. So we're just praying for them and hoping for their safety. But if we could save them and bring them over here, as well as our bandmates, that like put them on the on the flight also, and bring them
Yeah.
over and save them, that would be the ideal situation. Um, and then that's a tough one. This is a supporting act, right?
Yeah. It can be any band. It doesn't matter who it is. But yeah, you're gonna be the headlining band, and then they're gonna be supporting you. They're gonna be coming up right before you.
Well, it's pretty blasphemous to say, but since they don't have the original lead singer with them, maybe we'd be interested in doing it. But or I wouldn't want I would be okay with doing it. But I would say Queen. I guess since they don't have Freddie, we'd use Adam Lambert. But if they had Freddie, I couldn't do that. We would have to open up for them, on all chords there.
I
Um,
love that. I was thinking about this question earlier, and I'm like, damn, what if he picks a band that we both know is bigger than them? Is he gonna want to have them before? So I love that you said if they did have Freddie, you would want to open for them. That's amazing. It shows humble to me.
well, thank you. Freddie's been always an inspiration, as well as the rest of Queen. They're so I mean, just the opportunity to perform with any of them would be an honor. So
Absolutely wonderful. I had an absolute blast talking to you, man. Really appreciate you being here on the
likewise,
show with
brother.
me. I would love to have you again. Love to do an interview with you. Love to talk to some of the other guys in the band. Any
That'd be
final
great.
words before we go?
Just uh, tune in to losingseptember.com if you have any questions about any upcoming dates. And we've got a new music video coming out here shortly, so I will have to get you the release on that. So everything's built up. It's going to be dropping here in the next 3 weeks.
Hell yeah, man.
So we don't have the final release date scheduled, but once we get that published, we're going to publish the release date. So I'll get all that good stuff to you.
Good shit, man. Can't wait to hear it.
Awesome.
Once again, my name is Gavin Kerr. This is Bruce from Losing September, and we have been doing Between the Notes. We'll see you all next time. Thank you all for watching.